Welcome to a new vlog. It's been a while since the last one, so thanks for your patience with me while I have been making other videos based on things I've learned from the inside marketing design interviews I've been doing recently with people who work at other tech companies. Please go check them out if you haven't already, because I am super proud of all that content. You will learn a lot. I know that for a fact because I have learned a lot from it. Yeah, really proud of that series. So check the link in the description, click the card. That corner, is that the one that it's in? And yeah, go watch them later. But this is going to be a vlog of a day in my life as creative director, and also it has been a year now since I started working in this role. So I'm also going to use this vlog to answer some questions that you all have sent in on Twitter about like what it's been like to step into this role and like be working in it for a year. Just do a little bit of reflecting time. It's gonna be good. I'm just getting sort of very slowly started with my day. It's like 11:15 right now. I've been out for a walk and like had breakfast, now drinking some coffee. My sister sent me some beans from New Zealand, Coffee Supreme, and they are delicious. Yum. Actually, let's dive straight into a question, because David asked, said, I'd be curious to know what % of your time is spent creating versus managing, and if you like the balance. And one thing that I've definitely noticed as I've been in this new role for a year is I have a lot more meetings, like a lot more meetings than I did as an IC. I guess it makes sense, right? Like when you're in a management or like leadership role in a company, your job is kind of to like coordinate with other people, be talking at a strategy level. Obviously, I also have one-on-ones with all of my direct reports as well, and our individual team meetings, and yeah, there's just a lot more meetings to be had. I think because I'm based in Europe, it works out kind of good for me though, because I'm never going to be in meetings in my morning, for example, because the US is still asleep then, and we tend to like, yeah, keep meetings to my evening time, their morning time. But it does mean that like 2 or 3 days out of the week I work till 8 p.m. That's just like when meetings go till. So yeah, that's a reality, and I tend to start later because of that. So that's why it's like almost 11 and I'm still just sitting here like getting started with my day. But in terms of what % of my time spent creating versus managing, oh, how can I estimate that? I think there's actually like another segment to be put in here, because there's managing, which I consider to be like the people management side of things, which is obviously a very important part of my role. There is creating, because we're a small company, and right now I'm the only designer. We had a designer and we're back to being just me again. A new one's gonna start in the new year. So yes, there's a lot of creating too. But there's also, I would say, the like strategizing. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but like the figuring things out, where maybe I'm not hands-on designing something, but I'm like researching something, or I'm like writing up a plan, or I'm like thinking through something. That has been a big part of my role. And honestly, I might say that it's kind of even in each at the moment, at least, being that I'm the only designer on the marketing side at the moment. But yeah, previously I would say maybe a little bit less in the creating section, but it's a good balance for me. I'm liking it. I'm liking the challenge of people management and like helping develop the people on my team, their careers. I definitely love being involved at a strategy level, and I'm very pleased that my role can still have hands-on design creating as part of it, because I am absolutely not ready to give that up yet. So yeah, that's why I think I suit being a creative director at a small company where it is still necessary for me to get hands-on from time to time. Those are the things that I've been streaming too, if you caught. Yeah, I've been doing some live streams here on YouTube as I work on those hands-on projects. Anyway, I'll answer some more questions as I go on throughout my day, and as like things come up that make me think of like, oh, I should like, this is definitely something that's different for me now as a creative director compared to when I was a designer. But for now, I'm actually gonna get on a call with a friend in like 10 minutes and just catch up. So nice to be able to have the time to do that. And I wanna make sure I get a few things done for these last few episodes of Inside Marketing Design that at the time of filming this are not out yet. So yeah, let me go get on with that. Buddy. Now once I get into my actual work for the day. First thing on my list for today is working on a strategy doc for our brand strategy for 2022. You know, it's the end of the year. We've got to think about where we want to get to next year, what we want to aim for, and it's my job to give the team sort of like the overarching vision of what we're trying to do with our brand, so that we can then get into planning the specific work we're going to do to fit in with that. And this makes me think of this question that I had from Kay, who says, how do you look at quantitative metrics to measure something that can seem kind of fuzzy like brand? This is definitely something that I've struggled with and found to be a challenge this year, because it is kind of fuzzy. And just because we work on something that is trying to improve our brand affinity and like get the creators we want to be using ConvertKit to come on over, we might not see the immediate results from that. It might be more of a long-term thing. And so yeah, brand has been hard to measure. A couple of things that I've settled on where I don't think there's one perfect measurement, but a few things are looking at the number of creators who sign up in the core creator archetypes that we want to be using ConvertKit. I've run a couple of brand study survey things of like, have you heard of ConvertKit? And obviously that's a number we want to see go up as we do more and more work to get our brand out there. Or like just asking what creator marketing platforms you know and seeing if ConvertKit comes up as an answer for people in those. That'll be a thing that I think we run like once a quarter ideally, to get a pulse on that. We also track people talking about ConvertKit online through this tool called Mention, so that is another way, because obviously we would just want to see that growing. I guess that's true for a lot of these metrics, is it's not the specific metric that we're looking at, it's the trend that we want to see. We want to see it improving, to know that the work we're doing is having an impact. Something that we didn't own, and like I didn't own as creative director this year, was the conversion rate of our marketing site. And that's something that I'm actually going to focus on next year, because it's really important that, you know, we're the team with the keepers of like the design and build now of that site. And so we should be paying attention to the conversion rate and like taking ownership of that. So yeah, I'm excited to have that one. It'll be shared with the rest of the site squad, but that's currently the main ways that we're measuring brand. But yeah, it is really difficult and it's not a exact science. If you have any ideas of ways that I could measure the impact of brand and like brand design work in particular, then please let me know. I'm all ears. Yeah, I've spent like way more time than I would like to admit thinking about that this year, but it's been important to, you know, try and get that figured out. Anyway, I'm going to get on with writing this document, and I might make myself another cup of coffee to go with it. Let's go do that first. Why not? Good procrastination. While I sip on this coffee, there were a few other questions about challenges, like any unforeseen ones, biggest challenge of the year, whatever. And yeah, I'm figuring out actually how to measure the success and the impact that the work we're doing as a brand team is having was part of it. But honestly, I would say the biggest challenge was that this role was new. I wasn't like being promoted into a role that someone else was in previously. It was a brand new role for the company, and we were like, you know, basically spent the whole year figuring out exactly what I do. That sounds really weird, I know, and I promise we did get a lot of stuff done, but it was like through doing the stuff I was realizing what suited me, what didn't, where I felt I could actually add value. Like, for example, to start with, the brand team in general, we were told that reach was our directive. Like, we were trying to get in front of more and more creators. And the more I got into the year, the more I realized that that's marketing, right? Like, getting in front of more people is marketing. And so I had to have like conversations with my manager about like, okay, do you want a creative director, or is what you actually want a brand marketing manager? Because those are different roles. One is for me, one isn't for me. And yeah, we've ended up in a really good place where we've figured out exactly what brand owns now, which, I mean, reach is part of it because we're making brand content. Obviously you want to get it out in front of people, but that's shared with marketing, right? Because marketing, the ones who actually do the getting it out there. So yeah, I'm glad to have worked through that, but that was tough for a while there. I had a lot of like existential crises, is that the plural term for it, about if this was the right role for me, quite honestly, because of that like side of things where I was like, I just feel like this isn't where I can add the most value in like getting in front of a lot of people. It's just not what I'm built for. I'd rather be focusing on building brand affinity, right? Building our reputation as a brand, the quality level and the message that we're putting out there, the visuals, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's the main thing that I focus on now, and that's like understood across the company. But that was the main challenge, and I wouldn't have thought that was the main challenge because I spent the rest of my career up till now being so sure, for the most part, that I knew what to do, right? I knew I was a marketing designer, I knew what success looked like as a marketing designer, how to do it well, and I could just focus on doing the work itself. So yeah, that was a bit of a weird one. But yeah, someone also asked about challenges that I'm expecting going into the second year. I don't know about that. I think the challenge now comes more in the measuring side of like connecting the work, but also in like, okay, we have some metrics that I'm going to take ownership of. And now that's the big scary thing, right? Where it is figured out, these are the metrics that I own. And so how do I grow them? How do I improve on them? And all my focus can go there though. So I'm excited about that challenge. I think it's going to be really a fun one. Anyway, enough procrastinating. Let me get on with writing this doc. Just like that, I have spent the past, I don't even know how many hours in meetings and did not have a time to come back to the vlog. So let's end off here by answering a couple more questions. I want to start with this one here from Corey. This is, who is your favorite developer to work with and why? And then Isa says, what makes your team the best and why is everyone on your team so awesome? So both of these people are people who are on my team. I love them both, Isa and Corey. They're fantastic. And that has honestly been the funnest part of my job. It was kind of like, I don't know, I wondered if it would be weird at first to move into a management role where I was managing people who were my peers before and people who were my friends as well, like genuinely friends. But it's turned out to be like a strength in this role rather than a weakness that I was like fearful that it might, because I had a great foundational relationship with the team already, and so we've just been able to sort of like shift that and yeah, work with each other really well. And Corey actually just recently joined my team. We just made that change, so I'm very excited to have him on the team. What else have we got as a couple of last questions to answer here? How do you balance execution versus management? Do you find yourself doing more high-level work that enables your team, or are you getting your hands dirty in designs as well? I'm definitely doing both. I'm trying to do more of the like stuff to enable my team in terms of design especially, but I definitely got my hands way dirtier in the weeds of design than I wanted to do this year. Like, I want the design work that I do to be more thinking about the systems and like connecting our brand design across the company and letting my team focus on like individual projects. So yeah, that's like a learning from this year and something I hope to do next year. But I found that, I think I mentioned before, the fact that I work in the European time zone for a US company means that I do have a lot of time in my mornings. We also have no meeting days, well, no recurring meeting days on Tuesdays and Fridays at ConvertKit, so there's not usually a lot of stuff scheduled on those days. And so that gives me a lot of time to like focus on getting things done, whether that's design work, whether that's writing up a strategy doc like I was doing today, for example, things like that. That's how I've managed to balance the time for the execution versus, yeah, people management stuff and like, yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, someone else asking as well about how to transition between the high-level leadership and then zoomed in hands-on stuff. What I've learned works best for me is to plan in advance what day of the week I'm going to work on the things, because it's really easy to get overwhelmed when there's so much stuff to do, right? And there's like even more stuff for me to do now in this role than there was before. I've got like a much wider scope of responsibility. And so yeah, deciding every week what I'm going to work on that week and then just deciding for myself what days I'm going to dedicate to each has helped me, yeah, not be too overwhelmed by it and helps me make time for things. Like usually Tuesdays and Fridays are my creating days because obviously that's the less meeting days like I mentioned before. And then we'll end on this one here, which is, well, one, can you hear that? That's Nora scratching on her scratching post. Hanging out over here. No? Okay. We'll end on this one, which is, how did your leadership skills develop? this has definitely been, I mean, that was again something that I was concerned about stepping into this role. Never done it before. Would I be any good at it? Like I said, my team were like my friends and my peers, and I didn't want to let them down. So I was definitely nervous about that. But I think they've developed well because I have such great role models within the company to learn from. I put a lot of time and effort into like reading management books and learning that sort of thing, like, yeah, trying to find advice on issues that I was facing, talking to peers in the industry. But yeah, mostly I'm just so thankful for the leadership team at ConvertKit and that I have so many people I can go to within the company for advice. I also just started some design leadership coaching that I'm very excited about through design department. So yeah, I'll share more about that and my experience with it in a later video if you would like. But yeah, I'm just recently started it. Well, my camera died, so if that's not a sign that I should wrap up this vlog and go make some dinner, I don't know what is. What I was saying is I just recently started those coaching sessions. I've only had like 3 so far, so super new into them, but getting a lot of value from them already so far. I've really just been trying to, yeah, seek out resources to fill in the knowledge gaps that I have in this new role. All right, I want dinner. I know Nora wants dinner as well. That's why she's like being really antsy down here. So we will say goodbye now. Do you want to say goodbye, Nora? Nora does not want to say goodbye. All right, thanks for watching this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for all of your support during this first year of mine as creative director. I've really appreciated you asking about it and being interested in this experience of mine and yeah, watching along with the vlogs that I've shared my work. Because it was definitely a fear of mine too, that if I'm not just designing all day every day, will I still be able to provide value to you, you know, as a design content creator? But I feel like I've got a really good balance at the moment that I'm excited to keep leaning into and keep sharing my hands-on work where I can, as well as more of the strategy stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your week. Please hit subscribe if you're not already, because most of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed, and I'm like, please, because I don't know why, but that number means a lot to me. So please subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye!